little shades for Yosh Halloween cover here in our episode Hollow Knight, where he's gonna try to complete the 4th Pantheon, or die trying, because it's the only way we make progress.
Yeah.
Unless we want to go after Radiance, that would be the only other way to get, because that is, I don't know if defeating Radiance is an ending. I assume it would be because it's a whole boss, but honestly, I've got no clue. I don't remember. I've forgotten the endings at this point. I've looked up a guide for the... At this point, I realized, just for you audience, to give you, just let you know what's going on. I've spent like the last half hour realizing, well, not the last half hour, it's like an hour ago I realized my directions for this place have been in circles because I haven't known where to go. I just knew where the end goal was, and that the most prominent goal was blank, you know? But I didn't know what was the in-between, so I finally looked up a guide for this place, got all the information about it, and basically there's like 2 more Pantheons, and then we're at the very final hardest boss of the entire game. After completing both of those Pantheons. Anyway, I was just telling him how, one of the games I was playing, one of the games I plan to play, what, were you going on in something?
No, I just died. And
okay.
I'm disappointed, because I was doing so good with other things. Now I'm going into the Pantheon, and
I mean, if you want me to, I can always mute myself, so that way I can talk to the audience if you want me to, and I'll just unmute if I have a question directly for you.
I mean, I don't see a need for it now, but maybe later down the line.
Okay. But anyway, one of the games I plan to play is Persona 5 Tactica, and I realized the other day that I'm definitely not finishing Code Rain before that comes out. I've got like 3 sessions, and there's no way we're getting through like 3 chapters, or we're on the chapter 3, so we would need to get through like 4 chapters in 3 sessions, so that's like 16, 24, like in 24 hours, complete the game in 24 hours, like that would be a challenge. Could you imagine that title? It's like, trying to complete Code Rain
hours.
yeah, or Code Rain in a single week or something, you know?
I don't think we could do it.
I feel like if someone did, like, I can imagine maybe if you skipped everything. Like if you skipped everything, then yeah, but if you don't want to skip anything, then I don't think it's possible for anyone necessarily. Like, cause it's like the things that take the longest is dialogue, you know. Like if you know the answer and you know everything, you could technically probably speedrun the investigation in like probably a minute, honestly, for most of them. Like, besides when they're like in different rooms, like in the Nail Man, and even those, it's like the rooms separately are actually relatively quick. It's just that you couldn't knock them all out in a single minute. Or if you, I don't think that's possible at the very least. But anyway,
It gets me sometimes.
But anyway, so, and I was saying how when it came to like other games based in Persona 5, because after I completed Royal, I knew about like there were dancing games. I was like, okay. But then I remember, now this is where I had to Google it. There's this one game that came out that's like, I don't even know what kind of genre it is. I absolutely hate it because it's really grindy, and it's like, and I remember when I first saw it came out, I was like, wow, they really did just, you know, I felt like it was such a cash grab. Like it was just a reskin of another game
like
that I knew and I hate. No, not a gacha. But it seems so phoned in.
Those are usually what things will go for cash grabs and apps and whatnot.
No, it just seemed really phoned in and like super basic, like you just reskin the game.
Right.
Hold on. I know that they've been making it. I know it's If I can find them, I'll find it real quick.
It depends on, like, is it like a decent remaster, or is it just like lazily like reskinning a game and just selling the same
It's
thing?
not like a
GTA?
remaster by no means. It's
Okay.
It's called Persona 5 Strikers. That's what it is. Persona 5 Strikers. Which is, have you ever heard of like the Dynasty Warrior games or something along those lines? Basically, it's where you're like a guy and there's like this mob of like hostile creatures coming towards you, and you just do these massive attacks that like hit like 30 people or whatever, you know? Like it's definitely a game.
I mean, that's a wide definition that can fit different genres. Wait, my controller's just dead. Oh, that's not cutscene. Controller, what are you doing? No!
Well, I know that my description would do just either way. I just remembered that like I've seen other games where it was like I've seen versions of it of the game, but it's like maybe was that modded in? Actually, that might have been modded in. But I can't think of the title because it was super generic. I remember it being when I saw it, I thought it was super generic, and I think the reason why I was so annoyed by it was just because of how masterful I felt Persona 5 Royal was, and then to just see something that was so like lazy, like there wasn't like any story to it. It didn't add on anything to the canon. I felt, and I was like, ugh. How dare they, you know, like it was like tarnishing it or something, you know?
Do what me, the fan, wants.
Oh, why are you talking like a caveman?
I'm mocking you a little bit, but in a fun way, I guess. Try not to like be mean.
I mean, I'll accept that. I know
Also,
who you're referring to, though.
I'm not. Oh, I was like, you're upset mostly because they didn't do what you wanted them to do with the series.
What they were doing, it seemed like there was no story, and it was a lazy retexture. It felt like it was more DLC for the game it came from, less than an actual continuation of Persona 5, right? Like, that's what I
mean, it doesn't, not everything has to be a continuation, though. I mean, it literally could just be that. I mean, do you think fucking Mario DDR added anything to the Mario lore? No. It was just Dance Dance Revolution.
But that wasn't its own game. Like, that's DLC.
Yeah, it was.
That's what I'm saying.
That was its own game.
It was?
Mario DDR, yeah.
I thought that was in Dance Dance Revolution. That was the point, is that it was...
No.
Okay.
No, man. And then there's Mario Strikers. That's got nothing to do with like actual Mario, but it's just like something completely outside of it.
But Mario doesn't have a story. Like, Mario never had like a really...
Let me give you a better example of something that does have a story.
Okay.
I think it's Fate, isn't it? Fate Grand Order or whatever. The one
okay, yes, I know.
Show
I know
that has a very
an anime, and there's a bunch of other like split like universes or whatever.
Spin-offs and whatnot. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And then there's shows in that don't add anything to the timeline. They just exist.
Okay, there are different cases, but I think the reason why I was so specifically annoyed with it was just because of how well the story felt, and the fact it was being more or less either dropped or discontinued felt annoying and disrespectful.
Right, I can understand that, but at the same time, it is like, you are just kind of upset that the game studio isn't doing what you, the fan base, wants.
Well, yes, at the time I would definitely agree with it. At this point, I don't give a shit about it, and I just ignore it. Like, that's why like, if I actually knew the title offhand, then I would probably say I had a problem with it. But at this point, I've forgotten the title, and I just ignore it. Like, I just know that I had a rage for it at one point where it was like, it felt cheap and not like up to the standards of the series. That's all. I remember that's how I felt at the time.
The thing, that's your standards.
Well, no,
on something that's not yours.
Well, I was
that's my main
comparing
point.
it to like the game,
like
what its own was.
Well, you shouldn't necessarily have to compare them. Is my thing. Can they not just be separate things that can be enjoyed?
I mean, yes, they can both be enjoyed, but they can also be.
And they can
also be compared.
But they're not, and it's just not
this...
allowed to be separate. It has to add something to. It has. If something comes out, it has to add something to the lore. It has to. Nothing can be just for fun. Everything has to be for something.
Actually, no. I do remember. Actually, I remember why I was annoyed. Specifically because of the bait and switch ending they pulled, where I think where they killed off where they killed off one of my favorite characters from it, and then they teaser it like, oh, are they actually dead, or was it not a real death? You know. And I'm like, no, you have to confirm this. And then it was like a new game came up for it, and it was just not acknowledged.
I see.
And it was like,
so it's just that you were expecting something out of it that it didn't give you.
Yeah, like it's like if a movie was like teasing, like Endgame. You know, imagine if Endgame just didn't happen. Like they were doing all these.
They did.
Like, well, no, I mean like I was saying. They teased
a lot of. They teased a character that just never showed up. Just now in the MCU for Endgame. It was Adam Warlock. I don't know if you knew about that, but
well, no,
that
I
was
mean
something
leading
that
up
happened.
to Endgame. I mean, like what if? Imagine all these movies. I'm talking about like I mean like teasers about Thanos. You know, like what if they kept teasing this character and then just never like actually brought them to the story? Like they're just completely irrelevant.
That is exactly what I'm talking about.
But you're talking about a different character. I'm talking about like the iconic villain specifically.
Yes, but it's the same idea. It's just that it's not done with the villain character.
Yeah. But I thought, in my example, I thought it had to be someone either iconic or well known because of the fact that it's the whole point of like, you know, you bring up this character and then even if they're very well known or enjoyed, it's like you just don't acknowledge them at all. You know, you disregard it.
Right. That is kind of what happened. Even though it wasn't like the most iconic character of the series, Adam Warlock was a very I don't know who
Warlock is, so I have no clue. So that's why I'm like, when you keep bringing up the name, I'm like,
Did you know who Thanos was before MCU brought him up?
No.
Exactly. But now you're making the point that he is. But that's what Adam Warlock could have been in the MCU, but they just didn't. They just disregarded it. I'll be right back. 1 second.
Alright then.
Continue on with your statement though. And
but
I'll
anyway,
be back to try more Hollow Knight.
So yeah, I'm not finishing Code Rain and because don't have enough time for that. But at one point I was just not gonna do any of the any of the games like related to them, and I just was like, no, I'll never play any of them. But then once I lost my rage towards Strikers and I just kind of got over it, I was like, and then a few years later I played Mario plus Rabbids, the second one, not the first. And then I see Tactica, which I'm like, ooh, which is I wouldn't say essentially because obviously I don't know what the gameplay will be like. But it very much reminds me of Mario plus Rabbids in the essence of it's a like top-down, shooter where no, I guess not top-down would be correct because God, what is that called? I guess it's technically a tactical game, which is true, but it's like I don't know what that angle's called, because it's not like because when I know what a top-down is, where it's like straight up vertically, but it's not really. I don't know. I mean, in that genre, would they even acknowledge the camera angle? Because technically, something could be tactical and then just be like a bunch of different angles. Like, what are you gonna do? You can't see every angle. So I guess I guess in general, I think of it as it would be like a turn-based tactical warfare game. Warfare in the sense that it's like combat, like tactical combat, turn-based game. Is what I would say Mario plus Rabbids was. And Persona seems to be doing Persona 5 Tactica. Seems to look. It looks similar, and from what I've seen from it, it looks like it's going to be similar to that game. So I will. And I was going to play it, but then, like I said, didn't have enough time. But then I realized that could also be a bonus because it just means I could just, like, I can see if, like, normal difficulty is, like, easy for me. And so that way when I do play it, I can play it on maybe hard. And it's like, and the reason why I would do practice is just based on the fact that if I, like, when it came to, like, Baldur's Gate, the only reason why I did easy was because I was, like, I didn't know if I would be able to do normal, because I never practiced it.
I'm a dumbass.
This is a fact, so, I can't argue with it. But yeah. 16 minutes. Alright, let me go pull up Discord to find some more topics. Alright, so, the other day, I was pondering what to watch on Netflix, and I just watched Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix, which, I will say, after reading that title, I googled what Blood Dragon is, because I'm like, I've heard the term. I remember it from a Far Cry game, where it was like a sci-fi future.
Isn't that one lizard that bleeds from its eye? Oh.
Specifically Blood Dragon, no. It's basically a T-Rex with a neon heart that bleeds out neon.
I see.
It is it has no real life anything, you know. Like when I googled it, it just brought up the Far Cry game. So so you just bring up a lizard, and I'm like, what? What lizard is lizard is neon? And then you're like bleeding from the eyes. Like, oh, okay. So this had nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
No, it's a lizard that'll bleed from the eye on purpose to like ward off predators. It'll shoot them with its blood out of its eye. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Sure. I know about tactics to get rid of predators. Another one I know of is called a whistle, and the other one's called just good parenting, but you know.
Okay, that was a dumb move.
But anyway, and also that show title is the one where where Rayman's the news anchor and the Assassin's Creed frog is, which I would definitely recommend. It's got plenty of game references, and I would recommend it. And honestly, it shocked me how short it was, but at the same time, shows in general have to be quick or they get taken down before they could end. And by that I mean like one show I can think of is what is it called? It's on Netflix. What? God damn it! I cannot think of any names today. Apparently, it's probably because I'm trying to keep a cohesive line of thought. So it's like I'm trying to keep everything in mind, but then I don't keep things in mind.
Because you're focused on keeping things in mind?
No, I'm having a specific line of dialogue planned, but I don't actually name off whatever show I'm thinking of, or whatever title I'm thinking of, because I'll figure, I'll know what that is then. Where is it? What's it called? Job...
I'm a dumbass. I don't
Inside
know what I
Job.
was
That's
doing.
what it's
I
called.
was
Inside
trying
Job
to
off
hear-
of Netflix. They only had like they have a total of 2 seasons, or technically 2 parts. Sorry, it's separated in 2 parts. But and the very
Alright.
last episode has definitely a continuation, but it was canceled before because Netflix decided against it. Apparently, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it just didn't meet the
Netflix
quota or
and
whatever.
HBO have been doing that a lot.
So now when I give her and I can definitely think of several ones like Infinity Train from HBO Max got taken down before it could tell its stories. But anyway, main point is, animation has to be quick or else it's off. They want their ending. They have to make sure they get to it quickly.
Being slow with your introduction is a luxury that ended with One Piece.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. But anyway, continuing. You
I was
want to
saying
continue?
that a slow intro is a luxury because just the slight things you're allowed to add into like the small details you're allowed to add just because you have like more time to do it. It can really dramatically change a series, like for the better.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the main story. Back to the main story. So I'm thinking, what do I watch next? It's like something I want to listen to because I'm doing art for like a background, and I'm like, okay, what trash could I put on? And I was like, okay, I came down to 2 options, and the reason why I picked trash specifically is just because I don't want to be interested in it, or I want something that I could just not pay attention to and not care about. And I came down to 2 options: either a dating show, or a dating/games show, or Big Mouth. And I decided against Big Mouth, as I at the time mentioned that it's not healthy to listen to most of the time.
I mean, it's not a good show. Like, watching something just not good quality is gonna mess with your brain a little bit. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I made the comment that the only good time, the only time it's right is like once in a blue moon that's actually not bad. Like, they had an episode, they had like this character who was like a sweater, and it was a grieving sweater, and it was about how you can't run away from grieving, you kind of have to deal with it, and it's like, sometimes they have that kind of good advice where it's like, okay, this isn't actually just obnoxious and awkward, it's actually like decent advice.
It's actually like something, slightly useful.
But anyway, so I plan to subject myself that later. I plan to subject myself to that, to the rest of it later, because there's actually another season. I've watched all 6 seasons, and there's only one more season they add. There's 7 seasons in total, so I'll watch that later. When I can watch it without any distractions. And the most obvious question is why? Why do that? Why watch it? And at this point, I would probably say to just be able to say I watch all of Big Mouth. But I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. As clearly I understand the show
that would not rank as like a plus.
It's like, clearly I understand the show is bad. So is watching it really an achievement?
An achievement, right.
And I would definitely say, probably yeah. It's probably the achievement. Like, watching it probably is the achievement. Like, if it's such a challenge, It's like basically these bosses. My Big Mouth is these bosses for you, Wow, you were just sucking at those timing. You missed 2 of those, and that cost you magic.
I did not do good. Well, don't matter.
But anyway, yeah. So, I
That almost killed me.
did not
I
realize.
got so I didn't even notice.
That's a little
Okay.
bad. I did not realize I did not realize I forgot to turn down my mic. Oopsie doodle.
Oh no. Can you turn that down in post?
Probably not, because I'll turn down the entire video.
I see.
It's also 25, by the way. So you want me to go ahead and cut that out?
What part?
But I'm just
All
saying,
of it?
yeah, 25 minutes. You know, it's not that much. I'm sure we can make it up.
I don't. Is it completely unusable?
No, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if the only way to take care of, the only way I could get rid of, like, to make sure it wasn't too loud, it would be just to get rid of it, because there's no way for me to modify the mic afterwards. Maybe if I had like an actual editing program and I could see, like, if I was able to affect like the different like sound
Right.
files, maybe I could maybe selectively. I don't think so though, because like the entire video is a sound file, so I wouldn't be able to like exclusively make sure it is lowered. The best I could do is lower it whenever I talk, and the fact I've been talking most of the time, it's like, you know, it would basically just turn the entire video down. Would be the only solution.
It'd be.
Also, would you say this guy's a difficult guy to take out? Because when I was doing research,
No.
I everyone keeps saying this guy's like a run killer. And like that he's like the hardest one, like in this set. Well, I mean,
He's annoying.
maybe not the hardest one, but I remember them kept calling him a run killer, and so it's like, I guess he might actually be that for you, because he did basically kill you, and you don't have a whole lot of magic. So, I mean, because technically run killer just means that, you know, you didn't do it successfully. So, you know, if you don't do this, you know, he could actually be probably that to you. Like,
It could also
basically,
mean that he disrupts you enough to where it makes everything else impossible.
yeah, or at least makes the final challenge, because obviously it doesn't matter if you get all the way to the final boss, you know, you still have to do everything in one shot.
Right.
But yeah, it's like, it's definitely, Big Mouth is definitely like the same, it's like, Big Mouth is the same energy as to like, me watching all of My Little Pony like 3 times. Like, it's purely just to put
I
something
don't know
on.
why you would do that, but.
But it was fine too, because
yeah, I mean, that's fair.
it was fine too, because with My Little Pony, it was specifically, I was like, oh, it's just another Saturday morning cartoon. It's gonna be so boring. But it legitimately could surprise me, and even when it was something
By
that was
being
pretty basic, it
interesting.
was like, it's there though, you know, like I could,
Right.
even if it was like something that was either obvious or just uninteresting, I could just be like, okay, whatever. I don't have to acknowledge it, or I could just forget about it. And, well, I wouldn't say Big Mouth, but, like, Big Mouth would be, like, the opposite of that, where it's, like, there's clearly almost no good sides to it. It's clearly just basically all, like, it's like a cactus. Like, you don't hold on
It's
to a
negative
cactus.
to be negative.
But it's like, I'm just holding on to it just for the fact that, like,
Like a cactus. A
it's
cactus
new.
is negative because it wants to be.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying Netflix doesn't want Big Mouth to be negative. By all means, it's like, it's
No,
kind of
I
like,
mean,
it's kind
no,
of like
I'm
the
saying, like, Big Mouth is trying to be, not necessarily negative in a way, but it's
Yeah.
definitely not trying to have a positive effect.
Yeah, no. What I was gonna say is that it's like when it comes to publicity, you know, the whole thing about what is it, publicity or what's it, bad, or it doesn't matter if it's bad or god damn it, what's it
No matter if it's bad or good, as long as
Yeah.
as long as it gets the views.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, it's that, where, like, it doesn't matter if what's the quality, as long as it gets people's attention, which I would definitely say that is what it does. In fact, at one point, I actually did have a challenge, well, not really a challenge, just, I had a little thing. I had a, what would I call it? I had a plan to actually watch the whole thing with my roommate, but they couldn't get through the first season, and they stopped watching it, and I was like, I'm gonna keep watching. And so I've just become dedicated to it at this point. In fact, I even watched the spin-off Human Resources. I was also surprised when I first found out about the spin-off. I was like, wait, what? Big Mouth has a spin-off? It's like, you know what? Honestly, I honestly will say, I will say the spin-off is actually better than the main, which I don't know if that's actually
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard, and that's why I was shocked. Like, that's related? Because I've actually heard good things about human resources.
Yeah, human resource. Yeah.
Right?
No, it's definitely weird because I've never heard of a spin-off being better than the actual show. You know, like unless if it's like a case where
that's not like odd. To be fair, that has happened.
Can you give me an example? Because I've never heard of that.
Okay, I was trying to think of one.
Actually, I just thought about
honestly,
Star Wars.
probably Fate.
Fate? Oh, Fate Grand Order.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got no way to say one way or the other because I've never seen Fate. I just know the meme. I know about like the two like maids who like one is pink. I remember the pink and blue hair because I remember
that's Re:Zero.
Yeah, Re:Zero.
I think that's Re:Zero.
Yeah, that's
Re:Zero. Not Fate.
Okay.
Fate is the one where they hire fictional or historical people to fuck other people up.
Okay. Wait, did you just kill him off screen? Like you hit him as he teleported away and he just dies like somewhere else? So I found out the other day that I was mistaking Raft, the game you were suggesting, for a different game that is much worse. When you said Raft, I was thinking of Stranded Deep, the very first game of its kind. I'm pretty sure Stranded Deep was like the very first or whatever, and then more came out as you know, games got better.
Wait. Okay, here it is.
We're actually at 32, so I'll just continue my story next time.
Okay. So, like, okay, audience. The reason we're trying to get it is because I did train with the Hollow Knight or the Pure Vessel before this a little bit, and I was able to beat him. So we're gonna see if I can do that again.
Fully. That's what he also told me earlier. I'm not sure if we can guarantee that, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, we can. Anyway. I can go back to that museum. Fucking. You want to test me?
I mean, you're not there. You can't really get there without until like next time.
Dying.
So, I mean, there's no way to guarantee.
Yeah.
You know, there's no footage of
next
it.
time. Tune in next time if you want to see it. Alright, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section or in the Discord server by clicking on the link in the description below or in the About section. You'll find the links to our other media there as well. If you like this video and want more of the series, click on the link on the right. And if you want what YouTube suggests, click on the link on the left. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Alright.